The nature reserve's obviously coming on a lot, and we feel like we've achieved a great deal in the last few months following the pandemic. We've cleared an area for trees, and we've cleared the concrete from that area, and we've resoiled it. We've prepared a large area for wildflowers, and rather than have to remove the concrete again, we decided that we'd invite Richard Scott from Scouse Flower House to come up with a recipe for us that would allow us to plant on concrete.
The principal idea really is to trade on the poor soil and substrates. You can see there's a lot of concrete here, and what people are realising that brownfield sites are actually also very good for nature conservation in practical terms, but also capture carbon. So we have actually done some really clever science as part of this project in terms of using what is biochar, called biochar, which is really charcoal. But if you lock that into the soil, it's actually permanent storage for carbon, and it also helps give moisture retentive properties to the materials we're using, which is Mersey grit. You know, wildflowers don't do very well when they're outcompeted by grass in rich soils. It's going to be great.
We've also done some planting under the trees, a woodland mix, and hopefully that will all germinate and we'll have flowers and the beginnings of trees to show to the public in June or July. In the tree area, the whips were donated by the Mersey Forest. They were quite late going in because obviously we had to prepare the ground first, but we've got a really nice variety of trees, including things like birch cherry, lime, hazel, oak, and also we've got a lot smaller things like dogwood and dog roses, so it'll be a really nice mix when it comes to fruition. We're going to invite children to come and sow the wildflowers. We want the whole community to be involved in this project because it's not just about this piece of land, it's about community coming together and reclaiming this piece of land that hasn't been in public use since the greenhouses were demolished.
We're going to sow some annuals, so it'll be things that will flower this year, but in the longer terms it's great pollinators like Viper's bugloss and scabious, small scabious, field scabious, greater knapweed, and just a whole variety of things that will attract a lot of bees, but also in terms of the habitat and invertebrates. We know there's going to be like a huge increase in availability of habitat really.
The things I've been involved in, well, many things. Digging, dragging, cleaning, cutting back, getting extremely wet, and sometimes getting extremely cold as well. Not only is it good for mental health personally, I've met a lot of other people who have also benefited, and I've made friends in the community I didn't realise existed before.
The park certainly needed a nature reserve. It's so nice to have an area where people can come. It's going to be quiet, it's going to be back to nature. The bird song in here is just fantastic. Although the work's hard and a lot of it's been picking up litter, it's been fun.
There is a constant bird song in the summertime, caterpillars on the nettles. It is beautiful to see, and it's very restful to see as well in a sense. So, and a resting place was, yes, there are some places you can sit down in this park which are quiet. But this would be perhaps different because it's not quiet, it's got the bird song, and I think this is a good reason for having this space here.
I think it's fantastic, and it does set precedents. There's very few examples of what we call carbon capture meadows, because everybody talks about obviously planting trees, which is great, but it's about mosaics of habitats. So it's combining like kind of what we call in Scouse Flower House principles with the very best in ecology and really updating what's possible in urban parks and green spaces in the city.
The highlights really have been working here and seeing progress made. We've got a list of over 100 volunteers, and people have really enjoyed working here, working as a community and working as a group to establish what will be a really exciting part of the park.